Good evening and welcome to the latest episode of Boo My Dad Says. My name is John and I am your tour guide through the world of the paranormal. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a spine-tingling time. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Boo My Dad Says. My name is John.
And I'm Becca.
And tonight we are here to captivate you with another spine-tingling spirit.
I hope it's not too spine-tingling. I'm a scaredy pants.
I have a feeling that you're going to be changing your pants on this one.
Oh, ruh-roh, Raggy. That's not cool.
So how we doing tonight, dear?
Oh, we're pretty good. It's a Tuesday all day long. How about you?
Well, I'm excited because my Christmas present that was ordered originally several weeks before Christmas finally arrived.
Ba-dong ching.
Yeah, that was a very funny story. As most of y'all who listen to the show, you all know I'm a Ghostbusters fan, and Lego had just released a Lego Ecto-1, and it's going to be tied into the new movie coming out next summer. And this is going to be like the biggest Lego set that I have ever put together. It's got over 2,000 pieces in it. But the drama behind this set was...
I tried to be all sweet and surprising because I like surprises. That is how I roll. However, I have apparently got a knack for picking bozo people to buy from. And so I ordered this set on Amazon, and of course it never came. 3 weeks later, still hasn't come. So we got a refund. Then old John Boy over here orders it, and it comes in like 3 days. So there's that.
Yeah, but still... This is possibly my second favorite Christmas present of all time.
It would have been even better if it had been a surprise.
Well, what can I say?
Stupid freaking USPS.
So, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with the podcast. We have an updated website. The site that you all have been seeing was more of a temporary site until I could get something a little more well done. So the Boo My Dad Says website is updated with a new coat of paint, looks a lot better, and is a lot more functional as far as going out and looking up episodes. It has a link straight off to Apple Podcasts because looking at the statistics, most of the people who listen to podcasts do it through Apple. So my link is to Apple's website, and you can play the podcast straight from the site. So there you go. Hope y'all enjoy it.
If you have a personal story, be sure to hop on that website and click the, contact me, tell me more. We could call it lots of things, but you're going to find that little button that says...
It says contact.
Contact.
At the very top.
Share your story, and we will be glad to get you on the air. If you'd like to have a fake name, we can do that too.
Yeah, you get to see a little video on the contact page of me talking to you guys, But the email address that you're going to send to is john@boomydadsays.com. This site, the only downside of this site, it does not have the contact form like the other one did, so you will have to email straight out. Well, dear.
All right.
Have you read or listened to any good books lately?
Oh, gosh. I'll tell you what. We have an audiobook on all the blessed time. I could win big bucks at Harry Potter trivia, and that is a fact, Jack. Our 2 middle school boys, we have listened honestly to the entire series probably 6 or 7 times at least. We are huge audiobook fans. And as the language arts teacher in the world, world. Well, I am a teacher in the world. But anyway, as the language arts teacher, I can tell you research shows that the benefits of listening to an audiobook are just as good as actually reading a book. So if you are struggling to get your young reader, middle school reader, into a series or into paperback physical books, get an audiobook, put it on while you're in the car. It is a great option.
Well, I just finished the other day listening to Matthew McConaughey's autobiography, Green Lights. And let me tell you, that guy, he has just about done everything. I mean, he is like a really cool dude. And
I feel that way about Rob Lowe. I could listen to his audiobook all day.
does he narrate his audiobook?
I believe so.
So anyways, guys, sorry we kind of got a little off track there, but
Hashtag nerd life.
for you listeners of the Boo My Dad Says podcast, we are now affiliated with Audible. So you listeners can get 30 days of Audible Premium Plus for free. And what's included with that is you're going to get a book credit, so you can get any book that you want in the Audible library, and there are probably millions of books. And it's yours for free to keep, even if you cancel the service at the end of 30 days. Plus, what's part of the Audible Premium Plus is there are several books that, like, I guess, dramatizations of stories and things like that you can listen to as well. And they also have some podcasts. But now, granted, Boo My Dad Says is not on one of their podcasts. Not yet. But one day we'll be there. But so, remember, 30 days of Audible for free, plus you get a free book credit. That is yours to keep, even if you cancel the service. And I'm going to be putting a link to that sign-up site in the show notes. Well, dear, are you ready to get your pants scared off of you?
My britches are primed and ready.
Tonight's subject is on the Hat Man. And the Hat Man, the stories of this guy actually spook me a little bit.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I guess I better be getting my coffee ready to be sitting up with you tonight.
You may need to. I don't do well with scary stories.
I could sleep through anything.
That's true.
So the Hat Man, he is a type of spirit that falls into the category of shadow people. And a shadow person, also known as shadow figure, shadow beings, or black mask, is the perception of a patch of shadow as living humanoid figure and interpreted as the presence of a spirit or other entity by believers in the paranormal or supernatural. The Hat Man, or in the subject of shadow people, they were first brought up into discussion back in 2001 on a show called Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. So on April the 12th, 2001, Art Bell, the host of the program, interviewed Harley Swift Deer Reagan, who implied that shadow people were medicine men who walked in the spirit world and did harm to the living. But then we're going to fast forward a few months, and the lore of the shadow people kind of expanded into a more, I guess, specifics. That there are different shadow people did different things. But we're looking more at the Hat Man. And on October 1st, 2001, Art interviewed Heidi Hollis, and she had written her first book on the topic of shadow people called The Secret War, which was published in the same year. And she had reappeared as a regular guest on the show to define what shadow people are. The Hat Man himself is... He's this creature. He looks. He's like a big shadow, obviously, or we wouldn't be calling them shadow people, but a completely dark figure But the obvious difference is he wears a wide-brimmed hat, which in some accounts it appears to be like a top hat, or in some sightings a fedora. And while many people are unable to make out what he's wearing, some report seeing old-fashioned clothing like a long trench coat or a cape, but they all seem to agree that he's around 6 feet tall.
I think I read somewhere too, it almost looked like a big cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's definitely the most common theme there with the hat is it's always like a wide-brimmed hat. So the Hat Man's face is usually indistinguishable, but many who have said that had a visit from him have claimed that he has glowing red eyes, unlike other shadow people who are just a dark mass. But there have also been reports that the Hat Man carries a gold watch attached by a chain to his belt and will occasionally look at it.
Ah.
You scared yet?
Oh, I'm terrified. The red eyes things is what gets me. I don't like eyeballs.
Yeah, the red eyes, that's definitely, granted, in this day and age, red eyes can be, caused by anything. You got people who are sitting at a screen too long. And
yeah, but that's obviously not what they're talking about, Tonto.
I know. I'm just trying to lighten it up for you just a little bit, dear, because I know I'm gonna be paying for this one later.
The stress on my face, the hives on my neck.
So next week we'll be doing a story about the ghosts of the Harry Potter books to appease the wife.
We'll talk about little fluffy unicorns farting rainbows.
So, anyways, the most common appearances of the Hat Man. He's commonly been associated with sleep paralysis. And according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, sleep paralysis is a total inability to move for a very brief period that occurs as one is either falling asleep or awakening from sleep. And it's during the period of the not quite awake, not quite asleep that people can experience hallucinations. Now, let me go into a little bit more about sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis really, in the sense, from what I've understood, it's a natural occurrence. It's not really anything that is
scandalous or
anything. It's what happens is if your body did not go into sleep paralysis when you reach dream state, you would be reenacting your dreams. But
well, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, and the reason I know this, I did a little research some time ago. Remember that time we were coming home from Orlando? And it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was asleep. And you were driving, which is usually how it goes.
That's not uncommon. Yes, he kind of has... what's the word?
Narcolepsy when it comes to driving at
I will
long
drive
distances. 12,
13 hours straight, and he's sitting there snoozing the whole time. But anyway, I digress.
Truth. Complete truth right there.
Yes.
But we were on our way home from Orlando, and I fell asleep as the passenger.
Yeah, not as the driver. Let's make that clear.
I remember waking up, but I was alert of what was going around me. I could hear the radio, or it was probably an audiobook.
It was probably an audiobook.
Yeah. Probably Harry Potter for the upteenth millionth time.
No, I get to pick when I'm driving.
But I remember hearing the radio, but I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I remember trying to lift my arm, and it felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. And I think I was trying to scream, and I think the best I could get out was a whisper saying, like, help me or something is what I thought I was trying to say. Like I said, it's been a few years, but it was very scary that, so I can only imagine what these folks that have sleep paralysis and wake up in that all the time, I guess they have the abnormal situation where they wake up. They're aware of everything going on. They can see what's happening, but they can't move. And what they're saying is, I guess the sleep paralysis triggers a hallucination, and people are imagining this shadow
Maybe more
person.
susceptible to thinking they're seeing this.
Yes, or if you are on the more believer side of it, that the sleep paralysis is being triggered by this
the demon?
entity. Yes.
Boo.
Yeah. Because along with these common occurrences, the Hat Man seems to show up at times when there's very strong emotion. In many cases, the Hat Man seems to be hanging around areas where there's negative emotions taking place, such as households that ever experienced domestic abuse, fighting, or very depressed family members. But there have also been instances, he doesn't just show up at night. There have been some instances where he has been seen in the daytime, and we actually have an account. I found an account online where he showed up during the day, and I think you're going to read that for us, right?
Yes, I am going to share that story with you. This comes from a young lady who, and I'm just going to read you her account of what she said. I was 23 when I saw what I think I experienced, what people call the Hat Man. It was by far the most terrifying experience of my life. First, let me say it was early morning and still dark. My mother and I are both nurses, so working day shift, we left early before daylight. I was staying with my mom to save money, single mom worries. My mother would drop my 5-year-old son off to daycare for me because it was on her way to her work. We lived on 5 acres with large lights on wooden poles throughout the property that turned on by a timer. It gave us a sense of protection because it could get really dark out there. But this illusion was dispelled instantly that morning. Walking to our vehicles, I noticed a man standing under one of the lights closest to the house. I couldn't see his clothes per se, but their outlines. He didn't have a trench coat. It looked to be about mid-thigh, Victorian era, tapered coat. He had on boots from what the outline suggested, a stove hat, and he was looking at a watch on a chain. He didn't cast a shadow of his own. He was as black as night. I've got chills. I don't like this. Let's the record show. It's amazing the things that go through your head when something like this is actually happening. I could feel the evil coming off of him in waves. It was almost like my adrenaline was about to make my heart explode. I was so terrified, I actually felt my eyes dilate. I began screaming at my mother to put my son in the car and just go. Get out now. Not my usual vocabulary. I edited a little bit there because I don't say that bad word. Beep. Beep. Plus, they couldn't see or feel what I was feeling. My mother kept yelling at me, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I walked back to her car and put my son in his seat and literally forced my mom into leaving without me. All the while, it's watching. I can't see it smiling, but I can, if that makes sense. It made me sick to my stomach. We had a 500-foot-long driveway that led to a dirt road, very isolated. I didn't get in my car and follow my mother and son until they were at the end. I had to make sure it wouldn't follow them. I just looked straight at it. My heart was running 10,000 miles an hour, and I am standing still. I left finally to find my mother waiting for me at the end of the dirt road to the highway. Bewildered, I made her leave, and I called her from my cell phone to explain why I had acted like a crazy person. Strangely, she believed me. I don't think she was used to my reaction. I had to protect my family. Even though I knew it was there for me, I don't know how I knew this, but I just did. I hope to never feel that type of intense fear again, ever. I've met my quota in spades. The end. And I think I'm done. I don't do scary.
Well, just hang in there just a little bit longer, dear.
Hanging.
So, is the Hat Man dangerous?
Apparently, yes.
I'm leaning towards yes. People who claim the Hat Man has attacked them tell stories about being jumped on or choked and have experienced burning in their chest or tingling on their scalp. Shadow people are said to often do this, but the Hat Man is also happy just to be watching. He tends to stay longer than most shadow people as well, and has been seen spotted watching people in the mirror, bending over them while they sleep, or just hanging out in the corner with a creepy smile on his face. Okay, whoa, whew. Yeah, man,
This is a little much. Now there are some skeptics to the Hat Man. I'll go ahead and tell this part of it real quick. Maybe make it a little lighter so I can get the chill bumps off my body.
Or at least give a scientific,
skeptics, but
maybe
some,
a scientific reason for this.
Yeah, some alternative theories here. So many people report, doctors, practitioners, they report that methamphetamine addicts report the appearance of shadow people after prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. So again, it is tied to sleep, apparently. Psychiatrist Jack Potts suggests that methamphetamine usage adds a conspiratorial component to the sleep deprivation hallucinations. One interviewed subject said that you don't see shadow dogs or shadow birds or shadow cars. You see shadow people standing in doorways, walking behind you, coming in on you on the sidewalk. These hallucinations have been directly compared to the paranormal entities described in folklore. Finally, the visual hallucinations, such as those that are caused by schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, may even appear as shadowy figures at the edge of the peripheral vision. So there is some tie-ins here to some possible drug usage, to possible mental and emotional and behavioral instabilities, perhaps.
Although Becca is our skeptic on the team, we're not trying to discount all occurrences of the Hat Man. I myself believe that there are things out there that we can't explain, and
I like to sleep, so I prefer not to think about those things.
Exactly. But what I do feel like is in the cases of the Hat Man, even if he is just a hallucination or not, the whole premise is I think he feeds on fear. I think I think a lot of paranormal things, I think fear is what they feed on. I think they get that, they draw energy off of that. So we do have one more account that I think I'm going to read, and I will grant Rebecca a reprieve on this one.
Oh, I don't have to listen?
You don't have to read it.
Oh, not to read it. Okay. It's like,
do you want to read it?
No. Nope.
So this account here, I found this one on Reddit, and it's just titled My Experience. My family had a cabin on the lake where we spent our summer weekends. We would cram our families, which there were 4 families, in the space, and it was limited. As more kids came along, my dad built bunk beds and placed them in the kitchen. One night, my sister and I.
Kitchen?
Well,
bunk beds in the kitchen?
It was a little small cabin in the woods.
Oh,
so
okay. Sorry.
I mean, when you're
I can focus on mundane details like that, and then I won't get caught up in the scariness of it.
Well, when you live out, when you're on a vacation, and you've got a bunch of people in a cabin, you make do. I mean,
yes, that's true.
People sleep in tubs, things like that.
That sounds terrible.
So, anyways, back to our story. One night, my sister and I got in the bunk beds, and I was on top. But I woke up around 3 in the morning and I had to go to the bathroom. I was about to go to the bathroom when pictures started floating through the window. They were period pictures of men with pitchforks, women working at spinning wheels, etc. The pictures floated in from left to right. I know I was awake and not dreaming. Terrified, I pulled the covers closer. I followed the pictures as they came in, and standing at the foot of the bed was the Hat Man. Instead of a fedora, I believe he wore a cowboy hat. I guess the Hat Man probably wears a hat based on where he's, his
Particular
geographic location.
yeah.
The Hat Man in Great Britain probably wears, a top hat or, and I could see the Hat Man in Australia wearing the fedora looking hat with a little crook upside.
Oh, yeah. Good day, mate.
I'm sorry. I guess I am trying to lighten this up a little bit too, because it's some pretty heavy stuff. But anyway, so she believed it looked like a cowboy hat, and she goes, "I screamed, woke up everyone, and told them what I had seen, and know that it was not a nightmare." A few weeks later, my cousin and I were sharing a bed, and we were in there talking when a look of shock took over his face. I turned around, and the Hat Man was standing in the doorway. I have done my research online and tried to call Coast to Coast AM when they had an expert on the Hat Man. I have not seen any other instances of people seeing visions, pictures accompanying the Hat Man. Has anyone else? As a side note, I do not believe in ghosts, even after this experience. I believe it could be the energy left behind from people already gone, or possibly a demon. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm going to take some NyQuil tonight. That's my thoughts. A little stiff drink of something. I don't know. Shoo Lord.
So, what is the Hat Man? Well, I think we can agree for sure that he is some form of shadow person. Some people believe that that shadow people are ghosts or echoes of horrific events. Some people believe that the Hat Man in particular is a demon or is drawn to sorrow and anger in a household. But what do you guys think? What's your opinion? If you would like to make a comment, email me at john@boomydadsays.com, and I would love to have a dialogue with you.
Or I think you can comment on the Facebook page as well. If you find us on Facebook, that might be a little bit easier way to have some comment and dialogue going.
That's true. And, I keep forgetting about the Facebook page.
Forget about the Facebook.
I'm not a big social media kind of guy, to be honest with you. I stepped away from social media a few years ago, and I just came back about a year or so ago because my son was really big into Pokemon, and we were videoing pack openings and us playing matches and things. And I used Facebook as an avenue to try to get some traffic to those videos. And now I'm using Facebook to post links to the podcast, but I keep forgetting about the ability to interact
really,
with other people.
Yeah, it's definitely a great platform. I think that'd be a great way. Comment. We'll post something on Facebook about the Hat Man and give us your comments. Give us some feedback. Tell us your experience.
Yeah. And to get to our Facebook, if you go to facebook.com/boomydadsays, there you go.
Boom. There you go.
Well, dear, what do you think about the show?
Law. It's a little scary. I don't like those goosebumps. And I don't like the thought of, like, the one story I shared about a Hat Man taking my kid. Like, I don't like stories like that.
Yeah, you definitely got the spookier account.
Yeah,
we may have to start videoing these so we can watch you squirm a little bit.
No, we're not videoing these. That's a no, Joe.
Well, folks, anyways, I hope y'all have a great night, and I look forward to doing next week's show.
Comment on Facebook. If there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, post it on there too. I'm pretty serious about talking about the ghost of Harry Potter, but my co-host is kind of telling me a big fat no. So
No,
what
I
say
think
you?
I think I need to throw you. I need to throw you a bone, dear.
Yeah, I think so.
We need, or maybe we might
Do a
broaden
mini
it.
segment.
Maybe some ghosts from literature.
Yeah, ghosts from literature. That's right, because we are the professor and the paranormal. Badong ching.
She's been on me about changing the name of the show now that I've brought her in. So, what's your opinion on that too? I would have to totally rebrand, but hey, I would.
We can do that. No, it can just be like the side note. It'll be like the subtitle.
The Professor and the Paranormal.
Yes. Anyway, y'all have a great week. Have a great night. Stay safe. If you are in a place where it is cold, stay warm. And grab an audiobook. Grab a cup of coffee. Grab a book. Good times.
Well, guys, I'm going to leave you all with that. Good night, and God bless.